Not a bad point on the balance of play.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that. I think that I'm not sat here happy that we haven't won, and we've got a point. But at the same time, I appreciate it was a hard fought championship game against a good side that caused us problems.
Sending off, what would your view on that?
I thought it was. I don't think you're going to get off of it if you appeal, because I thought the player had an attitude to hurt Eliasson. I think if he just nicks him back, do you know what I mean, like with a pull, same effect, or gets a bit tighter a bit later. But I think he had the intention to hurt him, and I think that's probably the difference between the yellow and the red. I think it could have gone either way, but it's the old-fashioned reducer, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like you're actually quite pleased with it if he gives him a good old whack and he gets a booking, because obviously a tricky winger coming on. So I get it, do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that it couldn't have been a yellow. It definitely could have been a yellow. I think it was a bit like the one last week, to be honest, sort of on the verge of that yellow and a half.
You made a change very early, 29 minutes. What was the reason for that?
Injury. He's come off.
What was the problem?
I think it's his calf. To be honest, the minute I knew he weren't going to carry on, it was up to me to just go right bang. Didn't have too many options in terms of defensive players, so it was a case of obviously trying to get that strike. And I thought Fam started well, to be fair. He gave us actually what we needed in that spell, because I thought in the first half we was full of endeavour. Probably had the better chances of the first half in terms of areas of the pitch and ball flashing across goal and stuff like that, but both teams like cancelled each other out. Two honest teams. Thought they probably showed a bit more guile than we did in terms of their tidy up play, and that was a little bit disappointing for me, because I think it's fair for me to demand that quality now. I know we've got quality players, but I thought it was a little bit hot potato, and then what happens is you win the ball back, ball becomes a little bit hot potato, you lose it, and then of course you're chasing against a good side like Swansea. At that point then, when you win it back, you've got to be even busier to make angles, because a good passing side is inevitably a good receiving side, and that was the bit that I didn't think we'd done well enough in that first 60 minutes, and then in the last 30 minutes we open it up and we try and go for the win, and anything could have happened. So yeah, I'm not displeased with the point, but at the same time I do want a little bit more from the lads, but I suppose if you look at our injury list, how many key players, certainly wouldn't have expected to maybe write down that back four in the summer.
John Bentley, important save in the second half. How do you feel he's done overall this season?
Yeah, I think he's been a fantastic acquisition. I think our goalkeeping department is really, really strong. Obviously with Bent's coming in and potentially slightly undervalued in terms of like 1 year left in his contract, and made a big play to get him, which is good. Got Nicky Myper as well, was a very good goalkeeper, like sort of coaching and personality, as well as being a good goalkeeper in Rennie Gilmartin. Two sort of potential fantastic first team keepers coming through in Wallacott and obviously Max O'Leary. So yeah, we're in good shape in that position, and competition is strong, but of course while Bent's playing like he is, he retains the shirt.
You haven't said much about the Afobe injury that I've seen anyway. Is it as bad as everyone has been saying?
Well, I think, listen, originally I had the press conference. We didn't know the script really. He was going for a scan that night. We didn't know the extent of the damage. It was a freak incident. The ball is on his own. The ball's been chipped into him. He's tried to pull it down sort of over his shoulder, and you heard it. It was like a twig or a branch sort of snap, if you like. And at that point, you're worried. Obviously, he's rolling around in agony, and I mean, it feels horrible for him first and foremost, because he's really made an impression with the lads and in the team, and secondly for the team, you know. But it's a truth of football. It happens, and that's why I'm so pleased with the squad and the players, because it happened to us a lot. It feels like whenever we take 2 steps forward, we take 1 step back, whether it be injury or player sale. But the good thing is we're still taking steps forward.
An ACL is at the end of the injury.
Yeah, there's a lot gone on. There's ACL and a few more bits in the knee.
Has he gone back to Stoke now, or is that how?
Well, to be honest, obviously the focus has been on the game. I suppose the things that will determine that is the surgeon's report on the timescale. So obviously, if the timescale is beyond the loan, of course, you go back to Stoke because he's their asset, if you like, effectively.
To January or to
No, the loan's to the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if the surgeon turns around and says it's 6 months and he can play the last 6 games, then it's a different kettle of fish, isn't it? So, look, we'll let the powers that be and the insurance and the 2 clubs and the CEOs decide that. From my point of view, Bennick's been fantastic in the dressing room and, of course, on the pitch. So it's a big loss for us, but people have got to step up and likes of Semenyo and obviously Smodic played in that role today for a proportion of the game, really need to come to fruition. There are a couple of frees out and about that we could potentially have a look at. A couple of agents contacted us and we'll see what the situation is with that, but mainly just want to get as many of the injured boys back fit as possible.
Lee, one on Ashley Williams, home debut today, looked sound, solid, played in the field for years perhaps.
Yeah, I think he's been great. Another one, good character, good leadership qualities, and obviously he's got young Taylor Moore as well next to him that I thought did really well today. And we've had to sling him in. Probably they wouldn't have expected it to be as early as this, but obviously his wise head, if you like, will get him through games, and we get opportunity every 90 minutes. We get in every training session just to keep chipping away, but certainly doesn't look his age, and I think he defended very, very well today at times where we were under the cosh, made good, sound defensive decisions just to snuff out the danger.
I know you'd rather him probably stay here and bed in a bit more, but you expect him to be away with Wales next month for the qualifier?
Yeah, I think so. I think, listen, all the noise seems to suggest that if he's fit and he's playing, which he is, then Giggs will call him up. Obviously, he was invited into the last squad and the qualifiers previously, so I think that Wales obviously understand that he's an important figurehead, if you like, for the team, and like I said before, he's still got a couple of years in him for sure.
Baker injury, is there any more on that part?
No, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I haven't even checked. Obviously it's frustrating, so I think at this stage you're asking me, I think it was probably more precautionary than it was serious damage. It was probably, I think it was a tightening of the calf rather than a tear.
Did he signal to you?
Yeah, he signalled to us. Yeah.
Lee, a couple more injuries, but you've still got lots of attacking midfielders at least.
Yeah, I might have to create some new formations. I've thought about the Christmas tree and the diamond, and I'm sure there's a couple more uninvented that I might have to create. But yeah, I mean, look, we're quite adaptable. That's the positive, and I thought Hanno Masengo again was class today, just with his energy. You got to remember this kid's, what was he, 6 weeks over the age of 18 or something like that. It was maybe a couple of months. So fantastic performance. Yeah, they do.
Sam and Callum really impressed on the training pitch, because obviously Casey and Nicholas Elias have done pretty well when they've been in as well, haven't they?
Yeah, well, I think a very different story. Obviously, my mindset, which I thought worked, was to have the busy bees on the pitch and sort of hustle and harry the opposition. What we lost was that little bit of ice in the head, if you like. But as the game sort of moved on, obviously Casey came on and I thought he put his foot on it very well. And Nicholas is a little bit different because he's at the mercy of the shape. Do you know what I mean? And obviously when you go to a force, no problem, Nicholas can go and cause problems, particularly when the opposition are potentially tired. And I felt there should have been more injury time. I don't know about anybody else, but that's what he does, and obviously he's affected the opposition enough to get a red card, and had that been 10 minutes earlier, then we might have been able to create the overload and get the win.
On the free transfers, is that it's a possibility?
Well, it is a possibility, yeah, there's no doubt.
What was determined?
What do you mean?
Well, in terms, is it availability or is it types of strikers?
I'm not too bothered about the type, to be honest. I think we're very flexible, with what we play. But listen, if you had an opportunity to take a top player that was fit, you know what I mean, you'd take it, wouldn't you? So we'll have a look. I'm not going to commit to any decision, obviously, at this point. But there are 3 or 4 out there that probably fit the bill in various ways, and we'll have to have a look.
Lee, off tangent, nice to have Jack Leach among the crowd today.
Yeah.
Did you see any of the boys or anything?
No, he didn't, but I did ask him to do a message, so I really appreciate that, because my father-in-law, who's chairman of Nantwich Cricket Club, managed to get to Lords with their village team and obviously playing the final, so he'd be buzzing with that. He'd done a nice little video message for my father-in-law. It's one in the bank, isn't it? One of the old in credit with the father-in-law and then.
You played for that cricket team?
No, they won't let me in, mate. I'm nowhere near good enough. I did play cricket, but I enjoyed cricket actually.
Spin bowler?
No, I couldn't bowl. I was too small. I was actually wicket keep and batsman. But yeah, I was not bad, to be fair. In fact, my village team, which was Western Colville, under 15, just full of footballers that had a laugh, we also got to a national final at Edgbaston. So yeah, maybe it runs in the genes.
Just a quick word about Swansea. And do you expect him to still be out there?
Yeah, I think he's done really well, to be fair. It's like us, you lose key players. And you sell key players, it's not easy to pull those rabbits out of the hat. Yeah, they seem to have improved, and obviously we beat Swansea twice last year, like reasonably comfortable. So yeah, I think it's blooming tight, the Championship this year, isn't it? And like, I'm just desperate to get our sort of key men back and fit and flying, because I know how important it is. We can't afford any more to go down.
In that respect, is it chance missed today? Because you would have obviously gone level with Leeds to make a little sort of extra statement.
I think that at the start of the game, if you said we got a draw, you probably think like that. You know what I mean? At the end of the game, you got to be honest enough to hold your hands up, and I think a draw was probably a fair result. It could have gone either way in various moments in the game, but on balance of everything, it was just an honest, workmanlike performance from both teams. We had better counters and they had slicker possession. Simple as that.
Thank you very much.
Lee, sorry,
Okay.
just quickly